Hey everybody, welcome to another Fallout Hobbies live stream. Ron and Jules here.
Hey guys, what's up?
Jules and I are about ready to kill each other because we're in the process of buying a house. It's very stressful.
Actually, I just got done writing the best offer letter ever because it turns out they're war gamers.
Yeah, the people's house that we want to buy are war gamers, so that's kind of funny.
It's really funny.
If you hear any murder sounds, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Murder sounds?
Murder sounds. I'm teasing. I love you, baby. Okay, what are we doing today?
Underwater diorama continuation.
Z'Gok. The Z'Gok diorama. I saved this part of the video for just now, the unveiling, because this is a mold right here, a silicone mold, and I poured a lot of resin into it to kind of seal up the whole underwater scene, but I have not peeled the mold yet, and I'm going to be doing that momentarily. I'm kind of loosening things up right now. I wanted to do this on screen. I also want to grab the little boat that I'm going to add. 1 second. I have a little speedboat that I was going to put in here, but the top's not painted yet. But it can be, because it'll only take about a second to do that.
I think it turned out really cool.
Let me just give this speedboat a blast of red on the top while we do the peeling.
We've been really enjoying playing with resin a lot lately. We've been doing a lot of these, art kits with the kids and making different things like resin skulls and resin hearts and all kinds of stuff. The kids have been really loving, their resin, so...
All right, the top layer of red on that speedboat is drying.
Okay.
Let's do this peel. Let's see how this works. All right. I hope this doesn't... This is a pretty solid piece. I hope this doesn't...
Get stuck?
Well, it might. But I was thinking more about tearing the mold. If it tears the mold, that's not the end of the world. Oh, that turned out good. I can actually just kind of unroll it like a giant...
Don't say it.
I won't say it.
Don't say it.
Oh my god, that turned out perfectly. Oh, yeah. What? I'm excited. Oh, that's a little sad. You can actually see where the water layers are between the two pores. I thought that would blend in a little bit more, but it's a pretty clear line. Well, overall though, that's not the end of the world. There's a little bit of a ripple here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do this on screen, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand down the sides and put a little bit of resin in this, clear resin in this gap here, sand it down, buff it, polish it up. So what we're really going to be doing here is focusing on a couple of the small details on the top. Also, as you could see, there's a little bit of leakage under the bottom of the mold. That's nothing that can't be removed with an X-Acto. Yeah, there's a little bit of wet resin in that one spot. Come on.
I still think it turned out really cool.
Peeling it away. this is really thick at the bottom here. There we go. All right. So yeah, there's definitely a couple imperfections that I'm going to need to work on the exterior, but that's not the end of the world. You know, like I said, I'm going to have to sand this down. There's a little bit of a demarcation line right there, so I can fix all that stuff up. I actually felt a little bit of softness in the one spot still, so it still might be curing a little bit in the middle. Huh. Well, no worries. Here, this is the cool part. Where's that battery I just had? Here it is. I put a light underneath the dock. I want to see how it turned out. There we go. See, babe?
Very cool. Nice.
So there's a nice little underwater light right there.
I like it.
Pretty happy with how that turned out.
What's your favorite diorama you've ever done?
This is up there. The other underwater one with the giant like custom Gundam that I did with the long tentacle arms, and it's kind of like grabbing a whale.
Mm-hmm.
That one was fun. I want to finish up that Stormtrooper diorama with the ATST that we did on a live stream last year.
Oh, that would be cool.
You remember that one, right? The camouflage pattern on the ATST?
Mm-hmm.
That one just needs a little bit, the Stormtroopers need to be painted, is what needs to happen there. Let's put this guy's arms back in. There we go. Nice. He is really stuck in there. He is not moving.
And you just got like the silicone mold to pour the resin like off Amazon, right?
Yeah, it was just a regular, I got a 4-inch cube mold. And it looks like it's still intact, so that's cool. So I could use it for another one down the road. So I got a 4-inch cube mold, and then the wooden base is a 4-inch cube as well. 4-inch rectangle, rather. So I built the whole diorama on the top of the wood base. I 3D printed the dock. I grabbed some different assorted plants and things like that for in here. There's actually, I don't know how well you could see this on camera, but if you zoom in, there's some 3D printed garbage tires and stuff like that. Let me see if I can get this closer. There's some 3D printed garbage tires in between his legs. Like I made some trash piles under the dock and stuff.
More realistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a dock in Balmer.
Yeah, right.
I can say that because I'm from there.
That was kind of the intention of it being like a, kind of a cruddy dock, more or less. Well, overall, I think it worked out pretty well. What I'm going to have to do, like I said, sand the sides and stuff. I'm also going to, right now, trim this edge because there's a little bit of a lip here from the mold. So you just got to do a little bit of light trimming. And then I can buff that out when I buff out the rest of the sides. I might give this another like day or two to harden a little bit more before I decide to sand this side. Because even though it feels hard, there still might be a little bit of curing that needs to be done. So let's work on some of the other little details in the meantime. I wanted to put this one guy right here on the dock, but I need to paint his feet. So let me do that. Just need to give him some black boots. And then this one guy I think I was going to put on the dock as well. These are the little 1/44 scale Bandai figures that you can buy specifically for like Gundam dioramas and stuff like that. They're very tiny. They give you figures that are in like work suit looking things, and they give you some figures that are in space suits, depending on what kind of diorama you're doing. This girl's gonna need a little bit more work. And I also have these little 3D printed seagulls over here that I'm gonna glue onto some barrels.
Make it look like they're like landed onto the dock.
Mm-hmm. I'm also kind of debating on whether I even want to put the speedboat in, because I feel that it would block some of the cool stuff that's happening. I do want to use some of this foam effect stuff today. Now this is Vallejo water texture acrylics, and it's a foam effect, so we're going to use some of this stuff in a few minutes.
We used to have, when I grew up in Maryland, like all these herons that would just like land on the docks. And they would kind of like blend in too, because they're like big and tall, and they would stand like really still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had those in Wildwood. We had like the giant seagulls and stuff that would just hang out off the docks. In fact, I'm going to break out the tweezers. I'm going to attach one of these bad boys right now. These are just like little guys I found online, like a free file for them. Oh, that one's head broke off. Let's not worry about him.
Or, you know, it could be more realistic. Headless seagull, you know. All war-torn and whatnot.
That was like this lake that I used to live nearby. It was a very small lake, but it had all these ducks. And when you get near the edge, and it had these like wooden like bridges and walkways around it. And when you'd get near like one of the walkways and see where the still water is,
Mm-hmm.
there'd be all these like carcasses of ducks in the bottom of the lake.
Nice.
Like all mangled and like feathers all messed up and little fish nipping at them and stuff.
Be perfect for this diorama.
Yeah, except how do I get that into clear resin?
That's the challenge.
Yeah, that's more like impossible at this point. There we go. Look at those little seagulls. Those little guys hanging out there right there on the barrel. I don't know if you guys can see it up close. I'm getting really tiny here. If I just put these little seagull guys right here to kind of enhance that a little bit. Maybe I could put the speedboat over on this side, actually. the end of the dock. Because there's some really cool stuff happening right here in this area that I wouldn't want to cover up.
Yeah.
Right, I want to put one more seagull on here.
On a side note, Fernando messaged while we were live, so.
Good stuff?
Good stuff, yeah. I have to admit, I wrote the most, like, hilarious and, like... Well, no, they can't accept something we haven't signed yet. I keep telling you that.
Right.
I wrote the most, like, ridiculous seller's letter, like, ever, because they, like, have... It was so funny. We walked into this house, there's, like, this painting rack in the dining room with, like, all Army Painter paints. They had turbo dork. And, like, we go out on their back patio... And there's this one planter, and it has a rock in it with this, like, Necron symbol on it. I'm like, okay, we know where this is going.
Yeah.
And we went in the basement, and the guy has, like, a full setup with, like, a gaming table for, like, Warhammer. And he had a carrying case with, like, Sisters of Battle. So I'm like, the house spoke to us.
Yeah. That's funny.
The Emperor has decreed it. We shall live here.
I'm going to put this one guy right here, and he's going to be, like, trying to wave down the Z'Gok, being like, dude, don't wreck the dock. That's what that guy's saying right here. The Z'Gok's like, who, me? I'm not going to wreck this. Let me turn the lights on in him. There we go. All right. So as you can see, it's coming along. All right, let's use the foam effects and see how that works out. All right, I haven't used this stuff before, so I really don't know how it works. Apparently you just use a brush. All right, let me find a brush that I don't mind getting destroyed. This little one's probably the best bet. Alright, so like I said, I've never used this stuff before. Apparently it's an acrylic that dries clear and can simulate, like, you know, foaming white water. Right now it's looking a little heavy, but I'm going to apply it around the edge to wherever, like, a wake would be. And just see how it works out. And hope for the best. It's been my motto lately. I do have to say, working on a model that's really clear like this really messes with your depth perception a little bit. And there are things that I'm, like, trying to do, but I'm having kind of like a hard time positioning where I should be aiming the brush, because I can't really see where the water stops necessarily. I bet if I let this dry for like a minute and then come back at it, it'll break up a little bit more nicely. Get a little bit of water in on this. And let me get a different brush and see if I could kind of shape this a little bit. This might be a little bit of a trial and error kind of situation here. That's looking better. It's a slow day today, huh?
Mm-hmm. I feel like, you know what we should have done like last year?
Mm.
We should have done like a happy hour, hobby hour.
Oh, well,
like a
that
cocktail
doesn't mean that we can't
happy hour.
start doing that now. That's
Yeah, but I'm saying we should do like evening kind of stuff, like when people are home from work and they're just like, I just got home and I want to like chill out. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna grab a beer and paint some stuff.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah, right? I know. I have them every once in a while. Kind of like how like Lex had that whole like hangout with that hobby group in DC and stuff, where they would just like hang out on like Zoom and like it's like a whole thing.
Yeah, that was fun. I should do that again with them.
Mm-hmm. I like Lex. He's really nice.
All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just using a not wet but slightly damp brush to kind of smush and shape the foam a little bit more here. I guess that a lot of this stuff is trial and error for me. I think I'm going to break out this UV curing resin in a minute. I'm actually going to undo what I did right here along the legs. I think I'm going to build up more of a wake coming off of his legs with the UV resin.
I would make it look like he's splashing out of the water, going psh.
Or just slodging along in the water, and there's ripples behind him. I am going to have to kill this brush to do it, but that's fine.
You should have like a designated resin brush.
They just get solid.
Oh, right.
So it doesn't really like work after a while because they just get solid. I actually have the black light off to the side here. Oh, something heavy needs to go on that. That's okay. So I'm going to be building this up in layers with the brush and then just taking it over to the black light to harden it.
Mike laughed at our post for this video in customer creations. I think he knows because I was talking about him when I did like the description. I said, bring your coffee, lunch, put on earbuds, and pretend you're working.
That's funny. Oh yeah, this is working out much better. So what I'm doing is I'm using this UV curing resin, and I'm kind of like smushing it around with the brush, putting it under the black light for like a second. It starts hardening, but then it's not like completely hard, and then I can smush it with the brush a little bit more.
Travis says, and I don't know why I'm not getting messages in real time again on this laptop, so I apologize. It says, ooh, resin. Got a love-hate relationship with her. Never had a curing problem, but man, it's panic mode when it's not dammed properly. I think he means solidifies properly.
No, I think dammed he means like when like it can leak out.
Oh, like literally dammed.
Yeah, like when it can leak out from the seams and stuff.
I was taking it as like, damn, this isn't working.
Right, wrong dam.
Wrong dam.
That's the reason that I used the silicone mold, actually, is so that I knew there wouldn't be any leakage because it's one piece sealed up on all sides, because I didn't want any stuff leaking out. So yeah, I'm using, like I said, I'm using this clear resin, and it's able to build up like more ripple effects. And I'm just putting it under the black light for a second to kind of solidify it, and then going back in with the brush and smushing it around, and then back under the black light. I'm just going back and forth like that. I don't want to overkill it, but I do want it to look like the Z'Gok is affecting the water around it.
I think we should get some more of those like resin art kits for the kids too.
Mm-hmm.
They're super fun. They love that.
Like when I made the stones, the gemstones.
And the skulls and the hearts and
The
stuff.
skulls are just an ice cube tray.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I had a skull ice cube tray, and I just poured resin into it.
I'm not going to tell you. I used to have like one of these silicone molds that I used to have when I went to go do signings, and I would make chocolate.
It was a penis, wasn't it?
I would make these chocolates.
It was a penis.
I would make these chocolates. I'm just going to leave it at that. And they were edible, but they would be shaped like for, that particular demographic.
The demographic that likes penises.
I feel like I'm not going to say anything that might be incriminating.
You already did.
Hey, I'm all about fun swag.
Mm-hmm. This is actually really relaxing, by the way. Just like pouring resin onto this and dabbing it with a brush. It's also creating a really nice, like, uneven surface to the top of the water, which looks...
Can't see it when you do that.
I know, I'm putting it on the black light.
But it's not.
Yeah, but I can't get the black light under here.
Joshua Rysdam is checking in. He says, hey, question. Do you have a Punisher logo skull that has a stencil by chance? No, we do not.
We can make it, though.
I absolutely love the Punisher. He's so romantic. I'm all about that. I like John Wick, too. There was another one recently that kind of topped that. What was it? Can't remember. But anyway.
We can make the Punisher skull stencil, though.
Yeah, if you do a custom order, we can make that for you easily.
And if it's really small, like if it needs to be like for like shoulder pads for minis or something, that would probably have to be a decal. But if it's like anything that's like, say, like 15 millimeters tall and above.
For a vehicle, it would be okay for a stencil.
Yeah.
But anything super small, anything under like 10 millimeters, the vinyl cutter shreds.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But we can even do, like, if you wanted like little tiny like Punisher, like things for like knee pads, we could go as small as like 3 millimeter.
In decal.
Yeah. But
not in stencil. But stencil, we can go 15 millimeter tall and above.
Mm-hmm. And we've done all kinds of stuff like that. I've done Doctor Who decals for people. I've done My Little Pony and Brony for people.
We've done variants of the Punisher skull for people. Not like the exact skull, but like ones where people got like a chapter symbol and got like... And it kind of incorporated the skull.
He says for his Warlord Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Would be big.
Yeah, it would be big. So yeah, we could do stencils for that. We would just need like measurements and stuff, but we can totally do that.
Yeah, if you go onto our custom page, all the ordering info is on there.
I will say that I personally want to see a picture of this Titan when it's done, so I can share it to our social media page, because that would be dope. So I'm going to send you a link. He says, I will be in touch. Cool. We also have now 3 designers with us at the moment. With me being a little bit busier starting in the fall, we brought on another designer, my friend Bob from my weekly D&D group. I met him through my friend Ed, who works at Blizzard Games. So he joined our team and is doing designs too.
Mm-hmm. And cool. He's doing a great job so far.
Yeah, he really is.
Oh yeah, that's a good ripple right
Yeah,
there.
Josh, that web page that I gave you for the custom design, that is Fallout Hobbies is us. We also have a sister site, chaptercustomizer.com, which if you're looking for anything that's like chapter specific, you would go there. And if you are a Star Wars or Star Trek fan, we also have ModelWorks. And this weekend, if you wanted to do custom Punisher uh, decals or stencils, we are holding a Father's Day sale Saturday and Sunday only. So it'll be like 15% off.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm just going to move this up close to camera so you guys could see. You see that nice texture coming in behind his leg right there? Right here? That's what I've been working on with the clear resin, is making those like kind of ripples in the water. When it gets closer to the dock, the water is going to be a little bit more still, but the water behind the Z'Gok's feet is definitely going to be distorted. That's why I keep moving it off camera for like a second, because I have a black light right over here. If I get it juiced up under the black light for a few seconds, then it kind of starts coagulating, I guess would be the best word.
Last 3 days. That was the name of the movie that was like John Wick and the Punisher, where the dude's wife goes to prison and he
Right. Yeah.
breaks her out of jail. I was trying to think of it.
That wasn't as action packed. That was definitely more
slow burn.
More slow burn, and probably in a certain way more believable too.
But I love it. I mean, the dude is like a community college professor for, I forget if it's like philosophy or ethics or whatever. And he decides to break his wife out of prison in Pittsburgh, of all places. I'm like, oh man. It was so hot. It was very romantic. I have weird tastes, though. I also think Deadpool is romantic, so.
Deadpool is romantic. Okay, now I'm going to try something here and hope that it works. I'm going to put a little bit of this white gel mixed in with some of this clear gel. And see if it starts looking like water.
It's actually the next 3 days. I'm giving movie recommendations.
That one's more believable, though, I think. Because it's like an average guy doing it.
So if I got into a fight with my boss like that, and just for random circumstances, like for whatever reason, was accused of like murder and whatnot and got arrested, would you break me out of jail?
Oh, of course I would. You know I would.
Okay.
Okay, that's more believable.
Yeah. Hmm?
Okay, just...
Thanks, monkey.
Okay. See, that's starting to look like a wake right there. So let's get that under the black light for a minute. There we go. This UV resin like really solidifies fast.
It does kind of give it the effect where you can't see it as well on camera as in person, but it does kind of give it like a breaking up through the water effect.
Yeah, I mean, I still need to do more to it. You know, it's kind of like, it's not something that looks perfect with just one application. If I keep building it up and doing layers and creating some like ripples and stuff, it'll start to look the part. Plus, I'm mixing some of the Vallejo white acrylic gel with some of the UV curing resin to kind of, I don't know what the proper term is, make it a little bit more malleable, I guess. All right, so let me start doing some of that on the other leg. There we go. This is definitely going to be like a bit of a multi-step process. I'm probably going to be applying this for a bit while after the video, just to really achieve the right.
Actually, no. After the video, we're going to be calling Fernando back about.
I know that. I mean, I'm just in general. I'm just saying it's not all going to be like
completed
in the amount of time that we're recording this video. That's how you start doing it. You got to put like a dab down, and then you got to use the brush to kind of feather it a little bit. And then it starts looking like sea foam. It's a very tricky process, actually. I've wanted to do more water work before, but have not really done it. Kind of worked up the courage to do it on camera for the first time. I mean, I've done some smaller, like tiny things like making puddles and stuff before, but not making like a big, realistic looking piece like this, or at least quasi realistic. As realistic as you can get for giant robots coming out of the water. Just put it down. Any questions or comments from anyone?
Not so far. I really have to figure out though, I've noticed the last couple of live streams that we've done, there's a lag between the comments and when they show up on the laptop. It's a little odd. I don't know if it has to do with the software we're using for streaming or the deal is. I think when we move, I'd like to do like a nicer like setup and stuff.
Yeah. I definitely would like to do a better work area and video area setup. There you go. That looks like some water to me.
Nice.
Well, this one. This one's looking good. I gotta do some more crests on this one over here. So it seems the trick is You want to like build up like a ridge, and then kind of at the very top of the ridge, use some of this white foam effect stuff and kind of dab it on and like smush it around in a very chaotic way so that it looks like naturally occurring sea foam. That seems to be the trick there. And then you want to create some like ripple effects. And do a little bit of feathering. There, like that's looking. The biggest thing is you don't want any of these things to look like actual paintbrush strokes because that immediately kills the effect. So the more you can feather it and move it around and make it look organic, the more realistic it'll be. Because if it looks like a paintbrush stroke, then you just killed the whole effect. I mean, the same can be said for just about any type of weathering effect.
Bob says that this is coming out way better than he imagined. Thanks.
This diorama,
Mm-hmm.
did you imagine it looking like shit?
I imagine lots of things these days.
No, I'm just messing. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it.
You don't want to see me try and do a diorama. I'm like so unhappy with the way like my space wolves are painted and the color scheme like I started with them that I definitely feel like I need to change it. Like I've been inspired by the idea of like clear resin and stuff, so I think I want to do like a more traditional Space Wolves color scheme and do like these glacial bases, which I wish I would have thought about that and you'd suggested that idea before I started painting.
Everything can be repainted.
I know, it's just like I don't want to. And then I get like locked up on projects. Like I'll have invested like so much time for something that I don't want to change it, but I do.
Yeah.
And then it's a time factor because I have 50 million other things I'm doing.
Yes. I know the feeling.
I want to make these like Day of the Dead decals that are super duper tiny for my Daughters of the Crucible chicks. I think would be really cool. There was this one gal that actually, that's how I found out about Raging Heroes. She was like, hey, can you do these like face decals for like, I'm like, I could, but I need specific measurements. So then you got them for me because I wanted to like play with them. And
They're great figures.
They're beautiful. I got them because I can play them as like Sisters of Battle and they can ally with my Space Wolves.
Alright, that's starting to look like water. I am starting to kill this brush though. The brush is definitely dying on me a little bit because of all the resin hardening up on it. Get around here a little bit. What time is it, babe?
It's 3:08.
Oh, okay. We should stop in a minute.
Mm-hmm. I know you're like all zenning out with the resin painting.
Yeah, we gotta call our realtor in a minute. So.
Oh my God! If you guys could see like the letter that I wrote for this house, it's just incredible. The Imperium is a very large place, but we knew from the moment that we saw the paint rack in the dining room that this was home. It's a little ridiculous. They'll definitely have to have a sense of humor. Oh, hey, Alan. Alan's checking in with us, says, hello, how are you both? We are trying to buy a house, and ironically, the sellers, it turns out, are this couple, and she's a teacher, and he is a war gamer. And I'm imagining by the computer setup, probably something in tech too. So it feels like kind of like serendipity. How are you doing? And I'm sorry for those of you that were watching last week,
We had a power failure,
which was my fault. Kind of.
so it cut
Probably.
the video short last week.
I can admit when I'm wrong. It's not often that I'm wrong, but
Okay. I'll take what I can get.
Alan says, I'm good, thank you. Awesome. And if you're just checking in with us now, we did mention briefly earlier, if your wife doesn't get you something good for Father's Day, we are going to have a Father's Day sale for like Saturday, Sunday only for 15% off. So, you know, if you want to trade in your grilling equipment for, you know, a model, and I think like the Games Workshop stuff is more like 25% off.
Yeah.
So, because we are moving and trying to take less inventory with us, not more, so everything must go.
Okay. All right, this is really looking like water in the back here. I think I'm gonna just brush a little bit more resin around the side here to start texturing it up, but I'm probably gonna call this video done in a moment. So just to reiterate, I'm using the UV clear resin over top of the resin that I already poured, and if I brush it on like so, and then stick it under the black light for like a moment to kind of like half solidify it. And then if I go back over it with the brush like this, it creates a nice little texture that looks kind of like mellow, rippling water, not completely still water. The water here wouldn't be completely still because this Z'Gok is massive and shaking everything up.
He's coming up from underwater and going, pow!
If he did pow, that this dock would be gone. He's more like walking up to shore, being like, hey. And these guys on the dock are like, yo, dude, stop walking or you're going to wreck our dock. That's the scene. That's the scene that I've imagined in my head. I'm serious.
I know you are.
I'm serious. That's what's happening here.
So you're saying if you want your Z'Gok to go pow, you need way more ripples.
You would need more ripples and more water. Just more water overall. It'd have to be deeper. Look at the depth here. You know, that's only like 15-foot deep water.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was out in open ocean and like lurched up to shore, and then burst out of the water with his big cyclops eye.
We should do another diorama video. Sometime soon.
Oh, I will. I got plenty of ideas. Okay. All right, guys. So I think we're gonna wrap this up now, and this brush is pretty much dead anyway because it's got resin all gunked up on it. So that's pretty much it for this diorama. I'm going to just continue to texture out the top of the water, and then I'm going to get some sandpaper, sand down the sides. There's a little ripple right here from casting 2 different layers of resin. So I'm going to be sanding down the sides, brushing a fresh layer of clear resin over this, you know, and kind of like sealing it all in. And then it'll be done. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm definitely happy with how it came out. Oh, I just noticed that's why that happened. This kind of lifted up off the bottom a little bit, like about 1 millimeter. But yeah. And then I'll just have to install the battery for the little light that goes in the bottom of the dock here. There it is. So you could see it again. But that's about it. Anyway, I'll post some pictures of this. Well, actually, Jules will probably post some pictures of this on the different Fallout Hobbies social media platforms when we finish building it up. And as always, thanks for watching. And next weekend, I'm probably going to be doing some figure painting and using my camouflage stencils for some larger scale figures. So I think that's going to be next week's video. Anyway, thanks for watching, and come check in on us next Thursday. Have a good one.